Good day, everyone. My name is Christian Ramirez Jr. from BSK 43. Now I'll discuss the forensic chemistry and photography. Simulan natin ngayon sa forensic, kung ano ibig sabihin ng forensic. Forensic means related to court, law, or the use of scientific methods to investigate. So, ano nga ba ibig sabihin ng forensic? Madali lang yan. Matatawag yang forensic like, for example, forensic photography. When we say forensic photography, uh, you will use the photography in court as a evidence. So when we say forensic, ginagamitan siya ng siyensya. Ginagamitan siya ng science, no? Ginagamitan siya ng science to investigate. For example, sa isang crime scene is nakakita ka ng blood. So, hindi naman natin pwede tawag dito, hindi naman natin pwede ma-determine agad na pag nakakita tayo ng blood, ay ito sa tao to, ay iyan sa hayop yan. Hindi pwedeng ganun. Kaya tinawag na forensic, we will use the science, we will use the method kung paano siya naging sa tao or sa hayop yung isang blood. Okay? So, ang chemistry naman, chemistry is the branch of science that studies matter, what substances are made of, their properties, how they react, and the changes they undergo. So next, forensic science, the application of science principle, methods, and techniques to matter of law and criminal investigation, primarily for the purpose of identifying, analyzing, and interpreting physical evidence to aid in solving crimes and administering justice. So, pag forensic science, ito nga yung sinasabi ko kanina na application na siya. Pag sinabing application, is ina-apply na sa court as evidence. No? Ayun na yung ibig sabihin ng forensic science. Ito ay isang technique sa isang criminal investigation para ma-determine mo kung yung evidence na nakuha mo is doon mismo nanggaling sa blood na yon. For example, di ba? Forensic chemistry, branch of chemistry which deals with the application of chemical principle in the solution of problems that arise in connection with the administration of justices. So when we say forensic chemistry, branch siya ng chemistry. So, dinidil niya yung kung dinidil niya yung mga pwedeng i-apply dun na chemical sa isang problema. For example, makakita tayo ng blood sa isang crime scene. So, alamin natin kung anong chemical na pwedeng i-apply doon para ma-determine natin kung ito bang blood na to is hayop, ito bang blood na to kung yung galing sa tao, ito bang blood na to kung galing lang sa mga product like katulad ng mga ketchup, mga ganun, mga Del Monte, di ba? Kakulilan din ng blood dyan. So, dito natin malalaman. Okay? So, branches of forensic chemistry, meron tayong number 1, dangerous drugs, explosive examination and principle. When we say explosive examination and principle, ayan po yung mga mga explosive bomb, gano'n. Mga gunshot detection din naman, ayan po yung mga paraffin test na ginagamit natin. When we say forensic toxicology naman, it is the study of poison and kung paano siya yung mga antidote, kung paano siya magagamot, ganun. Blood alcohol and drug test, examination of counterfeit products, arson investigation, macro etching, bullet trajectory, tools, and other marks. Ayun po yung mga topic natin ngayong araw, no? Next, scope of forensic chemistry. It includes the chemical side of criminal investigation. It includes the analysis of any material and quality of which may give a rise to legal proceeding. So, next tayo dyan. Dito tayo sa history. So, si James Marsh, a Scottish chemist who first used toxicology, arsenic detection in a jury trial, developed the Marsh test. O, pag-aaralan natin yan mamaya. So, J.N. Servais Stas, a chemistry professor from Brussels, Belgium, who first to successfully identify vegetable poison in body tissue, developed the Stas method, primarily isolation technique for analysis of non-volatile organic substance. Then si Socrates naman was forced to drink hemlock, Conium guineus, one of the highly poisoned plant, for corrupting the youth of Athens. Oh. Matthew Joseph Benaventura or Phila, father of forensic chemistry and toxicology. So, lagi natin tatandaan, si Matthew, mag-isip pag mag-ano pala kayo, pag mag-memorize pala kayo, like, sa mga names, karamihan kasi yan sa mga names eh. Pero sabi nila daw, hindi lalabas sa board. Pero mas okay na alam natin, di ba? So, Matthew Joseph Bonaventura Orfila, siya yung father ng chemistry and toxicology. Lagi siyang for example, may kakilala kayong mga tropa na kaparehas ng pangalan niya, like Matthew, ganun, Matthew. So, ganun ang nag-memories kasi, inulit-ulit ko, tapos, kumbaga pag naisip ko siya, ay si Matthew to, ito yung father ng forensic and toxicology, ganun. Ganun ako mag-memorize sa mga tao, like sa mga, basta yung mga may hirap talaga memorize. Yan, lalo na to, pwede yan lumabas. For example lang pwede lumabas yan kaso mag-iiba yung mga spelling niyan. Kunyari, A, B, C, D. A yung pinaka pangalan talaga ni Matthew. Tapos sa B, C, and D, sa mga choices na yun, magkakaiba yung spelling nila. So, ayun yung mas mahirap. Kaya kailangan hindi mo lang siya familiarize. Like, memorize mo talaga yung name nila. Words. Siya yung first successful attempt to classify poison as corrosive, astringents, as acrids, stupefying or narcotics, narcotico, acrids, or putrefactions. He also testified in court as expert witness against Madame Marie Lafarge after poisoning her husband Charles Lafarge with arsenic using Marsh test. So next, in the Philippines, the first public Recognition of the value of science was made when the position of medicus titulars was created in the Philippines by virtue of the royal decree number 188 of Spain dated March 31, 1876. At present, there are 5 distinct laboratories in the Philippines. One is Technical Service of the National Bureau of Investigation. Number 2, PIDEA. Number 3, PNP Crime Laboratory. Number 4 is Public Attorney's Office or yung tinatawag natin na PAO. And number 5 is App College of Biology. So next is forensic chemist. When we say forensic chemist, ito po ay tao, no? The one who analyze evidence from the crime scene and derives a conclusion based on the test undertaking. So, the word itself, forensic chemist, isa po siyang tao na siya po yung siya po yung gumagawa ng ano, kumbaga siya yung nagsusolusyon sa isang test na ginagawa. Okay, nagigets ba? Next tayo. Crime scene. Ano ba ang crime scene? An area or vicinity of occurrence of physical evidence. Meron tayong dalawa niyan. Meron tayong primary at secondary crime scene. When we say primary crime scene, the actual place where the crime happened. So, ayun kung saan mismo nangyari ang krimen. Pag sinabi nating secondary crime, location related to the crime but not where it actually happened. Ito yun naman sa secondary crime scene, related siya sa primary. For example, kumbaga, hindi siya actual place mismo na nangyari, pero related siya dun sa actual place. Nagigets? Wait lang. Okay. The actual place where the crime happened. So, sa primary, kung saan talaga nangyari ang krimen. Sa secondary crime scene, a location related to the crime but not where it actually happened. Kumbaga, dito nangyari ang isang crime scene. Dito sa lugar na to, sa Bacoor. Dito sa Bacoor nangyari talaga yung specific tayo. Sige, sa Pote mismo nangyari ang krimen. Primary crime scene yun. Secondary crime scene, a location related to the crime but not where it actually happened. So, sa buong Bacoor siya ng ano, sa buong Bacoor siya nangyari, ganun. Pero hindi mismo dun sa may specific na katulad sa primary, no? So, next natin, physical evidence. Are articles and materials which are found in connection with an investigation and which aid in establishing the identity of the perpetrator of the circumstances under which the crime was committed or which in general assist in the prosecution of the criminal. It encompasses and any and all objects that can establish that crime has been committed or can provide a link between a crime and its victim for a crime and its perpetrator. When we say physical evidence, ito yung mga nakukuha natin sa isang crime scene. Okay. Na naiiwan ng isang naiiwan ng isang suspect, ganun, na makakapag-reveal sa kanyang identity. Next. Role of forensic chemist in scientific criminal investigation. Ano-ano nga ba yung mga role ng forensic chemist, no? So, letter A, performs analytical examination of different controlled substance such as dangerous drugs, explosive ingredients. So, next is conduct gunshot residue examination. Ito yung sinasabi natin kanina. Identifies different peculiarities from trace evidence. Examine body fluids for any degree of intoxication of alcohol, drugs, and poison. Analyze fake products for unfair competition. Prepares technical reports. Prepares finding for court's presentation and testify concerning scientific facts. Okay. So, dito tayo pumunta sa stages in the practice of forensic chemist. So, number 1, collection or reception of the specimen to be examined. The chemist should personally collect all the specimen necessary for the examination. Bakit niya kailangan kolektahin? For their differences, no? Hindi kasi mawawala talaga yung pinagkaiba. For example, kumuha ka ng, sa blood na naman tayo, para din na tayo kumuha ka ng dugo ng isang tao, tapos ikumpara mo sa ketchup. Diba? Hindi naman talaga sila same. Kumbaga, kailangan mo magkaroon ng test para ma-determine mo kung alin doon yung blood ng tao. Okay? Principle in collection and transportation of physical evidence. Sufficiency of the specimen is standard for comparison. Maintenance of individuality, labeling, and sealing. Actual examination of specimen. Number 3, communication of result. Number 4 is court appearance. Yung last na. Golden rule in practice of chemist. Go slowly. Bakit go slowly? Take all the time to make the test complete. So, huwag mo siyang mamadaliin. Kasi, it takes time to para malaman mo yung isang result, no? Like tayo kung ikukumpara natin talaga sa buhay is tayo mga internship na sinasabi ng mga senior natin, ng mga prof natin na trust the process talaga. No, hindi ka talaga kailangan mag-jump sa ibang basta hindi ka kailangan mag-jump like hindi ka nakapag-internship, sabay ka graduate ka. Parang hindi nila in-honor yung ganun kasi mas maganda talaga yung slowly. Process lang talaga. Sa process kasi nandun yung progress mo eh. Be thorough. Make careful observation and conduct all sufficient analysis before releasing a result to make or to prevent mistake. For example, diba na-observe mo na, na-test mo na, na-observe mo na. Then, hindi mo pwede ilabas-labas na, ma'am, ganito pala yung result. Kailangan marami talagang test na gagawin dyan para ma-confirm kung ito talagang blood na to is galing sa tao or sa hayop. Okay, take note. Use laboratory notebook, photograph, voice record, or other means to record all your observation. So, pagdating mo sa crime scene, kailangan mo lahat to. Notebook, photograph, voice record, kung ano man yung puwede mong ma-record, isulat mo dun, basta dun lang sa may crime scene. Like katulad sa panahon, gano'n. Kung meron ka namang, meron ka naman yan sa mga meron ka namang yan, yung mga laboratory notebook, kung may pang-picture ka, voice recorder, kung meron ka naman diyan, puwede mo naman talaga siyang i-take, 'no? Kasi for example, sa panahon, inaalam din 'yan kung, anong klimang for example, may namatay, gano'n. So, anong klima nun? Anong yun, summer ba yun, malamig ba yun, winter ba yun, tag-ulan ba yun, gano'n. Then lista mo lahat kung ano yung nakikita mo sa paligid. Consult others. Consulting others who already handle similar case who could help speed up the investigation. So, scenario kasi, kumbaga, kung baka ikaw, first time mo, syempre hindi mo agad mare-resolve yun. Kailangan mo ng iba na naka-handle na dun dati, na naka-handle na ng ganong, ganong incident, ganon. Next, use imagination. Be intuitive on the possible outcome of the analysis being conducted. So, kaya nasabi use imagination kasi tawag dito, kumbaga na nalalaman mo kung paano nangyari yung krimen na 'to. Parang gano'n, parang paano siya sinaksak, gano'n. Kailangan mo ng, ay baka baka nasa tagiliran yung yung for example, nasa tagiliran yung saksak. So, paano ba siya sinaksak? Paano ba? Patalikod, paharap, gano'n. Use your imagination. Avoid complicated theories. Explain the access and interpret the result of the analysis in a simple manner. So, mag-stick ka kung saan yung alam mo. Wag mo na paramihin na, ay baka dito galing yan, ay baka dito ganun yan. Ganun. Ano ba yung mga factors na contributing na pagkawala ng isang physical evidence? So, lack of precaution preventing tampering of specimen. So, kakulangan sa yung pagdating ng first responder, pinakailaman o kaya hinawakan agad ng walang gloves, gano'n, 'di ba? Failure in preservation. So, hindi mo agad na-preserve ang isang evidence. So, pwede yang ma-contaminate, no? Or masira. Failure in transport of specimen. So, alam mo, hinintay mo muna, hindi mo agad pinatransfer sa custody. Ganun. Pwede siyang masira. So, sobrang napaka-importante ng isang evidence. Kasi yun yung magdedetermine kung sino ang isang perpetrator. Okay? So, failure in identifying specimen. So, kung ano yung mga ginagamit mong test, hindi ma-identify kung ano yung specimen ang meron sa isang crime scene. So, improper packing of specimen. So, for example, yung blood nilagay mo sa tawag dito, yung sa paper, sa maliit na papel, o kaya sa sobre, ganun. For example, blood, kumuha ka ng blood, o kaya hinawakan mo, o kaya nilagay mo sa cotton buds mo ta's nilagay mo sa paper bag, eh, di wala rin, na-contaminate din kasi dumikit siya sa plastic. What din nilalagay din alam ko is vials 'no, yung tinatawag na vials. Type of examination used in forensic chemistry. So, analytical chemistry, qualitative examination, process used to determine and identifying the chemical properties of an unknown substance. When we say quantitative examination, process used to determine the amount of a specific substance, such as measuring the size, weight, mass, and length of a specimen. So, sa quali is isa siyang process kung paano mo made-determine or paano mo identify yung mga chemical na nandun sa isang sa isang substance. Pag sinabi natin quantity, determine mo yung amount ng isang specific substance. Okay? Methods of analysis in forensic science. Wet method requires much time and effort. High precision method, this refer to the utilization of UV and ginagamitan siya ng UV tsaka infrared. Methods of analysis in forensic science. Microscopy. This refers to the technical field of using microscope to view sample and object that is not visible to the naked eye. When we say naked eye is hindi natin nakikita sa normal. So, kailangan natin ng microscope para makita yung mga maliliit or mga tiny na bagay. Okay? Pag sinabi natin photography refers to the process of duplicating the image of an evidence for its preservation. Invisible rays, chromatography, a biophysical technique that enables the separation, identification, and purification of the component of a mixture for qualitative and quantitative analysis. Electrophoresis refers to laboratory technique used to separate DNA, RNA, or protein molecules based on their size on electrical charge. Spectrography. This refers to the technique of using spectrograph, an optical device for breaking light down into the spectrum. Neutron activation and analysis refer to a nuclear process used for determining the concentration elements in a vast amount of materials. X-ray diffraction, an analytical technique primarily used for phase identification of crystalline material and can provide information on unit cell dimension. The material is finely ground and homogenized. DNA typing used to establish identity, parentage, family relationship, and appropriate matches. Atomic absorption spectrometry or AAS refers to an analytical technique that measures the concentration of elements, make use of the wavelength light specifically absorbed by an element. Characteristic of tool and technique used in forensic science. So, meron tayong sensitivity, specificity, and rapidity. Law of individuality. Pag sinabing law of individuality, every object, natural or man-made, has unique characteristic and not duplicated in any other object. So, pag sinabi law of individuality, lahat ng object, either natural man yan, either man-made man yan, ay may sarili-sarili silang characteristic. Hindi sila, may similarities sila, pero hindi sila pwedeng maging similar talaga. May pagkakaiba talaga sila na hindi talaga pwede maging similar sila. Ganun. Halos lahat ng bagay halos lahat ng bagay, gawa man ng tao or natural man, lahat may pagkakaiba. Katulad sa fingerprint, kay Edmond Locard ata nagsabi niyan. Basta nakalimutan ko na eh. Ayun yung law of individuality. Madalas banggitin yan sa forensic fingerprint law of progressive change. Everything change with the passage time. Lahat ay nagbabago, hindi man lang kung ano yung nakikita mong yan, hindi na magbabago yan. O ano, for example, kung ano yung nakikita mong itsura ng babae na yan, kunya nagaganda ka dyan. So darating yung panahon is lahat yan mababago, lahat yan tatanda, hindi lang lahat ng for example, sa balat, ganun, lahat yan kukulubot, ganun. Principle of comparison, only likes can be compared. Yan, tama naman. Principle of analysis, analysis of two or more sets to understand any difference. Law of probability, all identification, definite or indefinite, are made consciously or unconsciously based on probability. Next, chain of custody. Ano nga ba ibig sabihin ng chain of custody? A chain of custody refers to a written record of all the individuals who maintain unbroken control over certain items of evidence. So, dito dinadala ang mga nakukuhang evidence sa chain of custody para i-test nila yung evidence. Collect from a crime scene. Ayan o. This established the proof that the items of evidence collected at the crime scene are the named items being presented in court of law, hence validating their origin. So, pag nakuha sila ng isang evidence sa isang crime scene, is ayun yung properly marked, tag, photograph, sketch, ganun. So, bago nila dalhin sa chain of custody para ma-test nila kung matest nila ang isang evidence. 4 stages in the practice of forensic chemistry. Number 1, collection or reception of specimen to be examined, sufficiency of sample, standard of comparison, maintenance of individuality, labeling and sealing. Number 2, actual examination, and number 3, communication of result of examination, and number 4, last is court appearance. Characteristic of forensic chemist. The practice of forensic chemistry in the Philippines, similar to other chemistry practices, is covered to RA 754, also known as chemistry laws. This was enacted on June 18, 1952. The chemistry law clearly states that a registered chemist is any person who is engaged in the professional practice of chemistry. So, ang registered chemist daw is kailangan niya ng professional practice ng isang chemistry. Then, registered din siya ng Board of Chemistry and the Professional Regulation Commission to undertake the professional practice of chemistry. So, among others, a forensic chemist must be able to spend hours rigorously up, applying analytical technique to evidence, clearly and concisely answer challenges to his findings, and possess moral integrity. So next, the forensic chemistry is an expert witness in court. Paano nga ba sila nagiging expert witness pagdating sa isang korte? So, forensic chemistry can be called as an expert witness in a court of law by virtue of the following qualification. Una, education. Ano niyan, attain niya na education. Kailangan niya ng license, basta license siya. License and registered chemist siya. Hindi lang basta license. Hindi lang basta pala license, kumbaga registered chemist siya. Then, master siya ng preferably with a master's or PhD degree. Pwede siya matawag na expert witness. Pagdating sa education yun. Pagdating naman sa training, meron siya, nag-undergo siya sa training and seminar ng field ng isang forensic. And yung training na yun is kailangan updated, no? Kailangan updated siya. Kailangan updated and in or outside na sa country natin. So, ang experience niya, kailangan yung experience niya is one must have hands-on experience involving laboratory. May experience siya sa laboratory procedure and alam niya kung paano sumagot sa mga tanong ng sa korte, ganun, during sa court presentation. Lang. Now, pag-usapan naman natin ang blood and blood stain, no? Ang blood ay isang ang blood ay has ang blood, ang ibig sabihin ng blood is has been called the circulating tissue of the body. Siya yung umiikot sa ating katawan. Meron tayo niyan sa lahat ng katawan natin. It is referred to as a highly complex mixture of cells, enzymes, protein, An inorganic substance. It is the red fluid of the blood vessels. Blood is opaque on the treatment with either water or other reagents becomes transparent like color. It's finally alkaline. Normally pH is 7.35 to 7.45. So composition of blood. So meron tayong 41%. Eto, 41% na red blood cells. So, tinatawag nating RBC. Yung RBC, pag nagpa-medical. Erythrocytes. Then, meron din tayong 4% na white blood cells. Ang tatandaan nyo lang dyan sa red blood cells, RB41, WB 4%, blood blood platelets, thrombocytes. Platelets originates in bone marrow and circulate in our blood. Their primary function is to prevent and stop bleeding. If a blood vessel is damaged, the body sends signal to platelets which cause them to travel to injured area. So, yung plasma natin, meron tayong 55%. Blood and blood analysis made up or form elements called plasma. Red cells or erythrocytes, white blood cells or leukocytes, and platelets that will settle forming of plasma. About 65% of the blood is plasma. Yung 65% ng blood is plasma. Then 90% is water. And then 10% naman is excuse, plasma or protein na nag-consist ng globulins and fibrogen, albumin. If the blood clots a straw yellow colored called serum is squeezed out. Next. And blood circulating tissue of the body carries oxygen and nutrients to all parts of the body, carries carbon dioxide, other waste products back to the lungs, kidneys, and liver for disposal. For every 600 red blood cells, there are about 40 platelets and white cells. Elements ng blood, 45, yung sinabi ko kanina, 45 red blood cells, abundant cells, plasma, meron tayong 55%, importance of application of blood group, determination of paternity and maternity, kung saan gagaling, no? Kung galing ka, kung yung nanay mo pa talaga yung nanay mo, tatay mo pa talaga yung tatay mo, ganun. So, determination whether a child born from a married woman could or have been fathered by her legal spouse. Determination whether a child could or could not belong to a given set of parents in case of accidental interchange of infants in hospital. So, place of collection, fluid blood may collect from victims of a crime scene. So, yan nga, sinasabi ko kanina pang example is blood galing sa crime scene. No, parents and child in case of disputed parentage. So, yan. For example, sa mga post-divorce, no, pag-uusapan yan kung saan ba galing yung isang bata, ganun. Dried blood or blood stain. Yan, yung mga mahirap kunin ng evidence sa mga dried blood. Smooth surface like walls, kung mga tumalsik ba sa mga ah, dingding, ganyan. Yan, kung mga nagaling ba sa mga palakol o pinukpok ba, yan. Made-determine yan. Preliminary test for chronological test for blood. Preliminary test, presumptive screening test, or color test. It determines whether the stain colors blood or another substance. It determines whether visible stains do or do not contain blood. It is used to demonstrate the presence of blood. Presumptive tests produce a color reaction once exposed to a specific reagent. So, benzidine test. Una natin benzidine test. So, ano ibig sabihin ng benzidine test? Benzidine solution and hydrogen peroxide agua oxinada. It will resort to blue color. So, pag sinabi natin benzidine test, ang result niya is blue color. Ang palatandaan ko dyan is yung B. Di ba? Benzidine. Benzidine. Saan ba nag-start ang benzidine? B, di ba? Then, anong kulay ba yun? Blue. Di ba? B, blue. Benzidine. Then, phenolphthalein test. Phenolphthalein test. Phenolphthalein and reagent and hydrogen peroxide. Ito yung mga chemical na ginagamit. Will result pag nag-positive, result niya is red or pink color. Alam ko pink to eh. Phenolphthalein test. P. Pink. Yan. Next, guaiacum test. Ito yung Van Din or days or Sconbin test. Yung result niya rin is blue. Guaiacum, blue. Benzidine, blue. Ano pa yung isa? Phenolphthalein ba yan? Phenolphthalein, pink. Leucomalache green test. Merong green test kasi yan eh. Leucomalache green test. Green yung palatandaan dyan. Then, malachite green with a bluish green or peacock blue. Luminol test, ano rin siya. Blood production light. Wala dito yung ano. Tetramine benzidine. Most common test for blood. Pag sinabi natin confirmatory test, ito yung actual proof. The stain is blood. Kung ito ba talaga ay galing sa yung blood ba is galing sa tao or galing lamang sa stain lang siya. Ganun. Microscopic test useful of this demonstration of mensuration of blood, distinction between mammalian or reptilian blood. Ito yung ginagamit, microscopic test. Microchemical or microcrystalline test, hematine crystal assay, Tekman test. Ito yung ginagamit ito yung pag nag-positive siya is yung dark brown yung kulay niya or rhombic hymen or hymen chloride. Yan. So it will result large rhombic salmon pink arranged in cluster. Takayama test. Acetone hymen test, small dark degree acicular crystals of acetone hymen. Spectroscope microscopic examination, the most delicate and reliable test for the determination of the presence of blood in both old and recent stain. Pag precipitin test, ang ibig sabihin na nito, whether uh, whether stain blood in human or animal will based on serum protein. Pag precipitin test, isa siya sa confirmatory test na ibig sabihin kung ito bang blood na ito is galing sa tao or sa isang hayop. No? Pag human blood, cloudy line siya, milky precipitate at the contact point of the fluid. So, blood grouping typing, ang proponent yan ay si Carl Landsteiner. Dinevelop niya ang ABO system of blood grouping. These are based on the ability of the blood serum of the person to clump or bring together the red cells. RBC, ito yung red blood cells. Yung serums naman, antibodies in agglutinin. Test for blood, preliminary test, determine kung galing ba sa stain or yung stain ba is contains ng blood or galing sa ibang substance. Pag confirmatory test, dinedetermine niya whether yung blood stains really contains blood. Gets? Pag precipitin test, kung sa tao ba or sa hayop. Pag blood grouping test, determines the blood group of human. Kung anong group ito, anong type ba nito. Type A ba to, type B ba to, type O ba to, ganyan. Primary test for blood. Benzidine test. So, benzidine intense blue. In dilution, 1.300,000. Okay, pag nag-positive siya is blue. Pag pinortalin test naman is 1 ayan, 80 million. Rose pink siya, pink dip. Permanganate. Pag pinortalin, pag guaiacum green, guaiacum beautiful blue. Leucomalachay green test, green or peacock blue. Luminous test is luminescence. Confirmatory test for blood. Useful of the demonstration on menstruation of blood corpuscles for making the distinction between species. So, ito pala yung frog blood. Then, ito yung human blood. Mas malaki yung yung bilog-bilog nitong human blood kaysa dito sa frog blood. Next spectroscopic examination. This examination depends on the principle that blood pigment have the power to absorb light of certain wave. Ito siya sa test. Ganyan yung nilalabas sa test. Wavelength. Next, microchemist, chemical test, Teckman test, o Hyman test, crystal test. Ayan. Yung itsura niya. Ito naman Takayama. Then ito yung acetone, Hyman test. Next, precipitin test. White cloudy line or ring or band at the contact points of the fluids that appear immediately within 2 minutes. Nag-a-appear yung ganyan within 2 minutes. Limitation, precipitin reacts not only with blood proteins but also with other body proteins as those as saliva, semen, mucus, and other body fluids. Ganito siya, itsura niya sa test. So, blood collection in a crime scene, collecting blood carefully and systematically to preserve its integrity for laboratory analysis and court use. So, types of blood, evidence at the scene. Pag wet blood, fresh liquid fluid dyan. Fresh liquid blood dyan. Pag dried blood, ito yung dried on the surface sa, for example, yung blood umano sa sa pader, ganun, dried. Nag-dried siya. Clot blood, semi-solid, partially dried blood, trace blood, small or invisible traces sometimes detect using chemical like luminescence. A wet blood, sterile cotton swab or gaze to observe the blood. Ito yung gagamitin pag collection. Gamitan mo ng cotton o kaya yung gasa, ganun. Air dry completely before packaging. Tuyuin mo muna siya bago mo ilagay sa packaging. Kasi baka mo-contaminate kung di ba patuyuin. Dried blood in an object. Collect the entire object if possible. Knife, clothing, pag magkasama na yung blood is nasa cloth, punitin mo lang yung sa surface na may blood, then lalagyan mo siya, sasama mo siya sa sa tawag dito, sa lalagyan mo sa sa lalagyan mo para maging isang para kasama mo siya sa evidence mo. Dried blood on large surface. Use distilled water to slightly moisten and sterile swab and collection sample. Packaging. Always air dry sample before packaging. So, hindi mo pwedeng ipack agad ng pagkuha mo, rekta pack agad o kaya pagkuha mo, rekta pack agad sa mga sa mga paper bag, mga ganun. Hindi pwede yung may mga proper packaging tayo dyan. Use paper bag or envelopes, never plastic for biological evidence. Plastic traps moisture and can be cause degradation. Pagkasira, no? Pag ginamitan mo ng plastic traps, moisture and or etc. Pwede yung masira pag hindi proper yung lalagyanan mo. So, kailangan niya may label, case number, then yung item number, no? Pangilang evidence to, ganun. Then, next, date and time of collection, yung pangalan and signature ng nangolekta, then description kung anong item yun, then preservation, transport is store in a cool, dry place for long-term storage, refrigeration, freezing, and sealing, especially for DNA analysis. Yan. So, next tayo sa semen and seminal fluids, seminal stain. So, next tayo sa semen and seminal fluid stain. Semen. Bibis, Albuminous fluid with faint grayish yellow color, having characteristic of fishy odor, mabaho. Spermatozoon is a living organism normally present in a seminal fluid contents of a head. Ito yung itsura niya na semen. Yan, sperm cell. Meron siyang head, parang tao din no? May neck, may body, may buntot. Ito pa lang tayo nung bata tayo. Anong di pa pala tayo nalabas? Ayan yung length niya, 50 to 55 microns in length. The following specimen may be examined for seminal fluid and spermatozoa wearing apparel of the victim and of the alleged accused. Vaginal smear from the victim, stain on the body of the victim and of the accused, stain found at the site of the commission of the offense. Seminal and seminal stains. Examination. Cross-examination. Inspection by means of the naked eye or with the use of the hand lens. Stain in grayish white, yellow in color. In fabrics, the area occupied is slightly depressed. Is usually a map-like counter. Slippery appearance to the surface. Ito naman yung mga test sa semen, no? Nung third year kami, pinagawa kami nito ni Mama Rani. Ang ganito. Talagang pinag-provide kami ng semen dun sa sa school. Yun. If semen is present, you will observe the formation. Ayan. Pagkakadikit nila, Barber's test. If spermatic fluid is present, pag present dito, makikita mo ay yellow colored na parang crystal and needle shape, parang mga dulo ng ng karayom. Phosphatase test, deep purple if semen present but will no change in color if the semen is absent. So, okay. Next, microscopic examination to confirm the presence of semen by directly seeing sperm cell, spermatozoa under the microscope. This is considered the most reliable and confirmatory test for semen identification. Semen is present, you will see spermatozoa pag present ang semen. Small thread-like structure with an oval head, a long thin tail. Biological examination, precipitin test, biological test for Barnum. This is a test to determine whether the semen is of the human origin or hindi. No? This is the use of test to unknown semen is the same way as blood precipitin is done. Parang katulad din siya sa precipitin test ng isang blood. Collection, preservation, and packing and transit of specimen. Seizure of apparel must be done as soon as possible. In packaging of wearing apparel, there should be no friction between the apparel and the stain. So, number 3, specimen should not be rolled for transit. 4, smaller object like hair should be placed on the fast tube and cork. Specimen should be thoroughly dried before packaging. So, bawal yung basa-basa pa lang lalagay mo na agad. Sobrang excited mo, di ba? Fluid, fluid semen should be placed in a test tube. Oh, test tube daw. Bawal ilagay sa plastic. Bawal ilagay sa paper bag. It will preserve 2 drops, 10% solution of formalin during hot weather. Pag hot weather lang to. So, next, meron tayong hair and textile fibers. Mumu yan, oh. Next, ano ba yung sabihin ng hair? It is epithelial outgrowth of the skin which occur everywhere on the human body except the palms of the hand and the sole of the feet. So, lahat ng parte ng katawan natin is may may buhok. So, except lang dito and sa sole ng feet natin. Okay? Ang roots ay yung pinakadulo, kinakabitan ng ating skin. Ito, yan. Ayan yung shaft portion above the skin, the most distinct part of the hair. Yan. Sometimes term point ang tip, the distal end of the uncut hair. Yan, pinakadulo. Next part of shaft, cuticle. So, sa part ng shaft, meron tayong tatlo, cuticle, cortex, and medulla or core. Ang cuticle natin is ito. Outermost covering of the hair. Sa labas yan. Sa labas. It consists of one layer of non-nucleated polygonal cells which overlap like the scale on the fish. Yun, sa labas siya ng ating shaft. Buhok. Ibla ng buhok. Cortex, the intermediate and the thickest layer of the end, composed of elongated spindle-shaped fibrils which cohere. They contain pigment granules in very proportion depending on the type of hair. So, medulla core, the most taas lang natin ito. Medulla core, the most characteristic portion of the hair. It is the central canal of the hair that may be empty or may contain various suit of cells, more or less pigment, and begins more and less near the root. Color. So, visible color of the hair, meron tayong black, itim, Merong brown, merong blonde, gray, and marami pang iba. Diba? Nakukulayan kasi yan eh. Melanin. It is the chemical responsible for hair color. There more melanin, the darker the hair. So, pag maraming melanin sa isang tao is mas dark yung hair. Ang length helps determine if hair came from the head, beard, pubic area, etc. So, pag mga ganito kahaba, yan, pag mga ganyan kahaba is na-determine nyo na, for example, nalaglag yung buhok ko galing dito, nalaglag dun sa isang crime scene, no? Ay, baka galing to sa hindi naman galing, hindi, pwedeng galing dun sa sa mga mahabang parte na pwedeng tubuan ng katawan, di ba? So, para dito lang talaga, may mga kung saan siya pwede i-test dito, pwede dyan, pwede sa ganito, ganun. So, length, character, swift, wiry, meron tayong mga fine hair, may mga kulot tayo, di ba? May mga kulot, may mga malalambot, may mga ah ayun nga, mga kulot-kulot, mga straight, ganun. Width, the thickness of the hair shaft, yung nipis ba ng hibla ng buhok. Pwede mo ma-determine kasi di ba pag sa mga di naman sa lahat ba, kumbaga may mga ibang aso kasi na may mga ibang hayop kasi na may mga kapal na balahibo and may mga maninipis na balahibo. Usually kasi sa mga aso, like mga askal, maninipis yung nila, yung balahibo ng nila, ba yung buhok. Kaya mas madedetermine natin kung galing ba sa tao or sa animal. Ganun. Semen of hair. Character of hair tip, if present, tells how the hair ended. Natural tip, tapered, uncut, normal shading. Cut tip, blunt. Broken tip, irregular, broken due to pulling or friction. Manner by which hair was cut. Examine under the microscope. Gagamit ng scissors para sa clean straight Then razor naman para sa angle edge, sa turn or pull, binubunutan, irregular or frayed. Condition of the root, base or bulb. The root tells how the hair was removed. Naturally shed hair, root is shrunken and bulb-like. Yung pinakadulo kasi niyan parang bulb-like yan eh. Pinakadulo niya. Kasi 'di ba may yan pag binubunot natin yung isang hibla ng buhok natin is may makita tayong puti doon sa may dulo. So ayun yan. Forcible pulled hair, roots show tissue tags stretch, roots sheets. So pag binunot mo bigla yung isang buhok, hibla ng buhok ng isang tao, makikita mo yun, di ba? Parang nai-stretch siya. Nai-stretch siya. Ganun, hindi yung ginanya mo lang, tas nakita mo na ng diretso pa rin siya. Parang hindi siya pantay yung pagka niya. Parang nag-curve, ganun. Cut hair, no root. Ayan. Touch. The root may also reveal the DNA for identification. Yung sinasabi sa inyong kulay puti. na 'pag dinunot nyo yung kulay puti sa may buhok nyo, ay sa may hibla ng buhok nyo, ay yun puwede gamitin sa DNA for identification, yan. Next, the medulla. The diameter thickness of the medulla is very little importance, but the relationship between the diameter of the medulla and diameter of the whole hair is of great importance. So ito, medulla index. Meron tayong 0.33 sa medulla. About one-third of the hair shaft. Meron din tayong 0.50 medulla, about one half of the hair shaft. Then medulla index 0.20, one-fifth of the hair shaft. Ayan. Ito naman, ayan, sinasabi ko sa dog hair. Nag-ano kami nito nagpa-activity si ma'am nito, laboratory. Ganyan, ginawa namin tong crime scene here. Ginawa natin tong mga iba't ibang type ng hair. Merong galing sa pusa, merong galing sa aso, merong galing sa tao, sa pubic hair, sa buhok sa kilikili, sa beard, mustache, ganyan. Ilagay namin yan lahat doon para ma-determine namin kung gaano pa, kung ano yung pagkakaiba nila. Yun. So sa fiber naman tayo. Fibers are naturally or synthetic substance that are much longer than they are wide. They are the basic units of textile materials, meaning they are spun or woven together to make fabrics, ropes, and other materials. So fiber can be found in many everyday items such as clothing, yan, fiber yan. Sa mga carpets and upholstery, sa mga curtains, ropes, blankets, car seats, and furniture. So pwede mo makita ang isang fiber. Vegetables and animal fibers may be differentiated as follows. So, one is ignition test. Animal fibers burn and fuse. Smell. Ito. Pag sinunog mo pala ang isang fiber. Fibers burn and fuse. Ang amoy niya is burnt hair. Sunog na buhok. Ganun. Fuse and glow bar. Fume turns red litmus to blue. Vegetable fibers. Ito yung mga rapid combustion. Mabilis masunog. Chark and break sharpie smell or burning wood. Parang nasusunog na kahoy. Vapors turns blue. Litmus to red. So, chemical test. Use of concentrated nitric acid. Animal fibers turn to yellow. Vegetable fibers no change in color pag nasusunog. Picric acid test. And silk yellow. Cellulose, wala siyang pagbabago. Next. The vegetable and animal fibers must be differentiated as follows. So, melon test, melons reagent test, wool and silk turn brown. Cellulose fibers, nag-turn siya sa black. Pag soak in tannic acid, wool and silk, mga wool is silk, kung nasunog siya is wala siyang pagbabago. Cellulose fibers naman is nagiging black. Pag number 6 naman is heated with 10% NaOH. Wool and silk, nadidissolve, nawawala. Pag cellulose, wala siyang epekto. Next. Standard forensic process for collection for hair and fibers. Method of collection. There are 4 primary ways to gather trace evidence like hairs, fibers, yung glass, and etc. na galing sa isang crime scene, no? Pag handpicking, examination visually inspect object using room light, oblique lighting, or alternate light source. Evidence is collected by hand or with uh, forceps and placed into a paper bindle. So next is tape lifts. One-sided adhesive tape is pressed against surfaces until the stickiness is gone. The tape is then applied to clear acetate sheet for protection. Ayan, gagamitan mo siya ng tape. Gagawin mo siya, didikit mo. Tape lips. Combining to collect evidence from a person's body like the pubic region, the comb or brush is used over a piece of paper. Each area must be combed with a new tool to avoid cross-contamination. Removal of object. If evidence is securely attached like a paint, square of clothing, the entire object or the initial portion of containing the evidence is called end photograph. Next tayo. Pag-packaging naman, ang proper packaging ng evidence para hindi ma-contaminate, ang una is place siya sa paper binders, glassine binders, or coin envelope. Sa mga lalagyanan ng pera, pwede mo ilagay doon. Container should be the smallest size that conformally fits the item. So, yung hindi pwedeng malaki. Kailangan yung sakto lang dun sa item na lalagay natin. Sa item na, for example, buhok, ganyan, sakto lang dun. Material to avoid. Evidence should never be in direct contact with cotton. So, hindi siya pwedeng ilagay sa tawag dito. Kumbaga, yung lalagyan niya may kasamang cotton kasi makokontaminate mo yung makokontaminate yun yung evidence natin. So, sa mga special case naman, fine particles like dry soil should be in a plastic or glass container with lids. Wet samples must be air-dried at the laboratory before final packaging. So every package must be marked with the case number, date, collector initials, and sinasabi natin kanina, item number, tag number, and brief description. Preservation naman, pag nagpe-preserve tayo, is kailangan yung temperature is control. And sa pagdating naman sa biological evidence, yung hair and root, state or blood residue should be frozen to allow for DNA analysis. So, hindi siya pwedeng Balot mo agad is dadalhin mo agad yun din. Ito ma'am, okay na 'to ma'am, test na kaagad tayo ng test niyo na po yan agad. Hindi puwedeng gano'n kasi may proper procedure yan kung paano nila yung test na yan, okey? Pag sa non-biological evidence, most other traces evidence is stored at room temperature, is controlled environment. So documentation, the exterior packaging must clearly state whether the contents should be stored frozen or at room temperature. Pag collection naman pag collection, control samples are needed to compare against the evidence found. So pag na-test na, ah, magpo-provide ng sample, then i-co-compare sila kung parehas yung nakita nila dun sa crime scene and dun sa for example sa nila, yung sa tinest nila. Representative samples must represent the entire material. For example, if a carpet is multicolored, a fiber of every color must be collected. So next, damage area. If a material is damaged by the sun, samples should be taken from both the damaged and undamaged area. Pag vehicle specifics, when collecting from a vehicle, technician must gather fibers from upholstery, floor mats, and seat cover. Ang quantity naman generally, the more control samples collected, the better a chance of a match. Technicians should be never just a single fiber or hair as a control. Next naman tayo. Wait lang guys CR na. Glass and glass and glass fragments and fractures lang. 3 minutes. Okay guys, let's talk about the glass and glass fragments and fractures. So, ang glass is super cold liquid that possesses high viscosity and rigidity. It is non-crystalline, inorganic substance. Glass is usually composed of oxide like SiO2, silica, yan, boric oxide, phosphorus pentoxide, 205. For commercial use, silica is the most important oxide. Yung mga glass natin is linked as a suspect to a crime scene. Determine din yung direction ng force kung paano niya binasag ang isang um, window. Identify yung tape or origin of glass. Next tayo, analysis of test for glass. Spectrographic test. Spectrographic test. An instrumental method of analysis that determines the presence of trace element. Show the constituent elements of a glass. It will not give sufficient information to establish the origin of the sample examined. A rapid examination and an adequate method for glass analysis since it requires a small amount of sample. So, ito yung test natin, no? Spectrographic test. Then, pangalawa is X-ray diffraction test analysis. Not as effective as the spectrograph. Hindi siya katulad ng spectrographic test, no? Na ang dinedetermine is type of pattern ng glass. Dito naman sa X-ray kasi, nakadepende siya sa composition ng glass kung ano yung type of glass. Hindi siya sa pattern, kumbaga sa type of glass siya kung ano yung composition ng glass. Ganun. When X-ray are directed at a glass sample, they are scattered, diffracted in specific patterns that depend on the chemical composition and atomic arrangement of the material. Next, physical properties examination. The most sensitive method of determining differences of composition in glass sample, and it depends upon the study of physical properties of glass. Properties like specific gravity or density, refractive index. Ultraviolet light examination. Ito nire-determine yung differences ng kumbaga yung appearance ng isang glass, no? Next, glass evidence of crime. Automobile glass in case of hit and run. Like sa mga ah, sa mga highway, ganun. Sa mga highway, pag na-hit and run, di ba, may mga, kunyari, pag binasag din yung window, ganun, window ng sasakyan, ayan, pwede yung gawin ng evidence. Broken window caused by pressure, blow, or bullet in case of robbery. For example, pinasok yung bahay na dumaan sa window, ganun. Pwede yung ma-determine, pwede na magamit natin evidence yan. Pag sa mga broken bottles, drinking glass, or spectacle found at the scene of assault or other crimes of violence. So, for example, habang hinaharas yung isang babae, then merong baso sa isang table, biglang natabig ng isang babae. Ayun, pwedeng yung dumikit din yung, 'di ba, yung yung biglang naalalayan pala ng lalaki yung yung baso ta's biglang nabasag, 'di ba? Puwedeng dumikit yung mga do'n, mga paawis, gano'n. Mga iba pang puwedeng dumikit yung mga fingerprint, gano'n. So, puwede natin siya magamit as a evidence. So, next, 3 R's rule. Radial cracks from a right angle on the reverse side of the force. Radial fracture primarily fracture resembles the spokes of the wheel raging outward from the point of impact. Pag sinabing radial fracture, eto yun. Eto, wait lang. Para siyang wheel, no? Kumbaga, eto, para siyang wheel. Ito, a radial fracture, ayan. Ito yung pinakabutas niya. Ito, kung nakikita nyo sa screen, ito yung pinakabutas niya. Ito, ligay natin dito. Ito yung pinakabutas niya. Then, dito siya nabasag, no? Then, ang kasi, ito yung primary. Ito yung primary. Ayan. Ayan yung primary niya. Ayan, yung primary. Ito. Tsaka ito. Pag sinabi natin concentric fracture, secondary fracture having the appearance of circle around the point of impact connecting one radiating crack to the other, thus forming triangular pieces of glass. Pag sinabing concentric fracture, ito siya yung pangalawang crack na nag-cause dun. Yun ang pangalawang crack na nangyari. Diba, itong radial fracture, unang crack. Kumbaga wheel type, yung mga parang naging spokes, ganun, spokes, nagbabike kayo. Then, yung concentric, ito naman, ayan ang concentric fracture. Yung parang pangalawa, di ba nabasag ng isa, tapos may mga lumamat pa na ayun yung concentric. Next, toxicology. Ito. Try natin ma-explain to. Try natin ma-explain. Ayan, toxicology. Ibig sabihin ng toxicology, science of poison, the scientific study of poison, especially their effect on the body and their antibiotics. So kung ano yung pag ang toxicology is pag-aaralan natin kung ano yung effects sa katawan ng isang tao and kung ano yung pwedeng maging antidote niya. Poison is anything other than physical agency which is capable of destroying life, either by chemical action on tissue of the living body or uh, physiological action by absorbing into the living system. So, ayan, pag poison nakakasira sa buhay ng isang tao, no? And kung paano dadalhin ng physiological action ng isang tao, ang isang, ano nga yun, chemical kasi yan, poison. Kumbaga nakakamatay talaga yan. Chemical action on the body tissue. The poison chemical reacts with the tissue of the living body. Corrosion, burning, or destruction of cells. Ayan, mga pwedeng damayan yan. Pwedeng masira yung cells nyo, pwedeng masunog, pwedeng yun, pagkasira nga ng katawan natin, kupal malalason ba? The poison is absorbed into bloodstream, yan, naabsorb ng dugo. Interferes with the normal function of the organs or the body system. Next, meron tayong action of poison. May local, remote, and combined. Pag sinabi natin local, the disturbance produced on that part which the poison may come into contact, no? Pwedeng strong acid or alkalines burning the skin or mouth. Pag remote naman, disturbance produced in distinct place away from the site of application. For example, pag snake venom in-inject sa leeg, is maapektuhan siya sa heart or brain. Then, pag combine naman, ito yung dalawa, local and remote, pinag-combine na. The effect is not only localized but it also affect the organs and tissue. Hindi lang sa isang part, no? Dito kasi sa local, isang part lang siya ng poison kung saan tumama yung contact, doon lang. Pag sinabing remote, maapektuhan yung heart and brain. Pag sinabing combine, hindi lang katulad sa local and sa remote na kumbaga halo siya. Halo to. So, next acute poisoning characterized by a marked disturbance of function or death with a short time. So, pag sinabing acute poisoning, mabilis siya. Pwedeng magresulta sa pagkamatay sa mabilis na oras pala. Example, a type of poison ingesting a large dose of cyanide dying within a minute. Pag uminom ka ng yan, matataas na dosage, no? Pag sa acute poisoning, cases of short duration and extreme violence which may include some symptoms of chronic poisoning. So, pag chronic poisoning, gradual lang siya. Pwede siya maapektuhan yung tissue mo, pwede kang magkasakit niyan, pero hindi siya magre-result sa death. A factory working inhaling a small amount of lead does daily for years, leading anemia and urological problem. Pero hindi siya magre-result sa death. No, kumbaga, ayan lang, anemia lang, tsaka neurological kasi lagi siya nakaka-inhale or nakakasinghot ng lead. Siguro, ayun yung trabaho niya, ganun. Kaya, ayan, ayun yung naging example dyan. Next, accidental. Type of poisoning may accidental, those in which the poison was taken without intention to cause death. So, itong poison na to, pwede natin makuha yan na hindi siya magre-result sa wala siyang intention, hindi siya magkukos ng death. Yung mga accidental lang na poison, ganun. Then suicidal naman, ito naman yung nagte-take siya ng mga poison like yung mga umiinom ng mga high dosage na gamot para yun, yun nga, voluntary suicidal. The word itself, suicide, ganun, para mag-suicide siya. Homicidal naman, those in which the poison was given willfully, wantonly, and with intent to cause death. Undetermined, those in which history in hazy as to how the poison was obtained and why it was administered. Evaluation in the stomach, a long rubber tube introduced to the mouth and allowed to reach the stomach. Fluid must first be introduced into the stomach to prevent the tube to come in a close contact with its wall. Fluid is withdrawn and introduced until traces of the poisons are removed. The procedure is indicated in poisoning by corrosive on account of the danger of tear or laceration of the stomach wall. Administration of emetics, hindi kasi na mali ng emetic. Causing vomiting, pagsusuka ng isang tao or ng isang hayop, no? Application of psychological antidote substance that counter attack poison. Pag sabi antidotes, ito yung agent kung saan nagagamot ang isang poison. Kumbaga ito yung counter niya. Counter ng isang poison para mawala yung poison sa katawan natin. They are classified as either mechanical, chemical, or psychological antidotes. Pag sinabing chemical antidotes are those which removes the poison without changing it or coats the surface of the tissue or organs to prevent absorption of the poison. For example nito, yung mga chemical is yung mga milk, egg, charcoal, yung mga activate charcoals, emetics. Ito yung mga poison, nagtatanggal ng poison sa katawan natin na hindi pinababago yung daloy or takbo ng natin sa pangangatawan. Ganon. Pag sabing chemical antidotes, agent that makes the poison harmless by chemical altering it. So, ayan, chilling agent like EDTA for heavy metal poisoning, lead, mercury, yan. Sodium sulfate, cyanide poisoning, baking soda solution, yan. And last is psychological antidote, also known as antagonists, are substances which act upon the system so as to counteract the effect of the poison making, masking, and altering the symptoms procedure. Ito yung mga atropine yan. Nagko-cause ng psychological effect, no? Kaya meron siyang psychological antidote para ma-counteract niya yung mga magiging epekto ng mga poison. Okay. So, next. Uy, tapos na pala. So, I hope all of you guys is may natutunan kayo. Di naman ako ganun kagaling mag-explain. Sana meron pa rin kayong nakuha. So, thank you and God bless.